Welcome to the Business Empowerment Podcast, the show that keeps you in the know with what you need to know in business and technology and for yourself so you can grow. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Rob Howes, and my co-host, Wilton Rogers, got insight for miles and miles. We'll give you what you need to know. Get ready for the Business Empowerment Podcast.
Yeah. What is up, brother?
Man, it's all good, dude. It'd be really good if I would see us. I don't see us on here though. I'm trying to look for us. I don't see us on there, man.
You don't? You wanna? We're on there somewhere, man.
Okay.
We're on there.
Oh, it's a late bloomer. Oh,
Yeah.
Late bloomers. Okay, StreamYard. I see you.
Yeah, man. It's coming up. It's coming up. What's up, brother? We have an amazing show today, don't we?
Man, we got amazing people coming today
Yeah.
to share some of the things they've been doing. Like they've been changing the world literally.
literally changing the world. And our first guest, man, I'm excited because they're making a big impact on what we do today.
Yeah.
For what we've done for our vision and what we want to take it. I'm going to get more detail when we sit down and talk to Dmitry, but man, it's been a game changer ever since I met them, right?
Man, I'm looking forward to hearing more of what's inside the genius.
Right.
Of mine.
Exactly. Sharing that with the world, man. I know a little bit, but poking at them a little bit more and getting some more information is always great. And then, and of course, we have Monique Russell.
Monique.
Man, you're freezing up on me. Are you still there? Rob, you froze up on me.
Maybe a slight technical tornado, ladies and gentlemen.
There it is.
Everything will be fine. The dogs and the cats are safe.
That's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad we'll be able to connect with both of them, man. I know they have some big story to share with us, where they're at, what they're doing, the changes they've been making in the world. And I know ElectroNeek, which is Dmitry, he's a co-founder of that company. Man, they're blowing up, dude. They're blowing up.
They're blowing up because they're serving. They're serving at scale. We're gonna get this. You want to make income, make impact.
That's it. So I just say, let's go ahead and get this party started. What do you say?
Do it. Let's do it.
All right, man. Let's go to commercial. We'll come back with Dmitry. See you in a minute.
Back in a second.
All right.
What if there was a way to get more done by using less effort? What if you could eliminate all the mundane, tedious, repetitive daily tasks off your plate? What if you could have more time to do the things you want to do, like customer engagement, branding, and spending more time with those who are important to you, like your team, your friends, and your family? Well, you can, and RPA can do that for you. RPA, Robotic Process Automation, is a technology that is literally transforming businesses overnight, giving you and your staff more time to do more meaningful things. The STA Group will show you how this can be done in less than 30 days and taking less than 5 hours of your time in the process. In that 30 days, you will learn how to identify all the places of your business that can be automated, and the STA Group will show you how. From conversation to activation in less than 30 days. You will only find that right here. You will be ahead of your competition, and you will give your business the opportunity to grow once you learn how to scale through automation. Contact us today for a free 30-minute discovery evaluation, and we'll show you how to transform your business overnight.
Ladies and gentlemen,
we are back.
We're back. And the reason why we can transform that business overnight, a big part of that is because this gentleman sitting down here in the square, like we're in the game show. He's on the bottom square here.
Right here. And by the way, I just saw that banner running across. Like, man, that's Monique's banner, man. Let me get the other banner off. Dmitry, how you doing, my man?
Hi, Milton. How, Rob? Excellent. How are you today?
Man,
Doing well. Doing
fantastic. Glad to have you here so you can shed some insight on what you're doing and talk about this webinar and all the great stuff that ElectroNeek is up to. So, I want to kind of share a little bit. Dmitry Karpov, is that how you pronounce your last name, Karpov?
Exactly. No
Yes.
connection to famous chess player, but still proud to have this last name.
Hey, look, you might have a connection to that famous chess player's brain, because you guys are pulling some stuff off over there at ElectroNeeks. So I'm gonna read a little bit of the bio here from LinkedIn. So Dmitry is the founder of ElectroNeeks Robotics, citizen automation evangelist, entrepreneur, and corporate executive with significant experience in finance. He's a former physicist and he's passionate about science and innovation. And I know he's passionate about innovation because the ElectroNeeks is one of the most innovative companies, I believe, in a long time. I was going to give a time frame, but it's been a very long time. What you guys have done in a significantly short period of time. I was like, I was telling somebody the other day, I was like, imagine, Microsoft and Apple, what they're doing. Then all of a sudden this company comes out of nowhere. Woo! It's like, what is this company? Who are they? Oh, they're providing service. So we're going to get into that. They're providing service at scale.
well. All right.
Well, you can tell I'm excited about this a little bit.
You know what? I mean, when we first started saying, hey, we got to go live, our first thing was like, hey, we got to get Dmitry on there because, we'll go into more detail, but partnering up with you has really changed the game for us. And we've been looking for a partner. We've been praying for a partner like you for years before we even met you. And in business today and what we're doing today could not be done without the partnership of you. And not only for us to be able to partner up with you, but being able to share with others what you are doing and how easy it is what we're going to get into, because I know there's a lot of people like us out there that are looking for partners like you in order for them to grow their business. So yeah, man, this is definitely exciting. So in fact, let me go ahead and share their website right away, because if you guys want more information, just go to their website. You'll see more. But yeah, man, let's get into it. Let's get into this.
Yeah. Let's talk. Let's talk. What do you want to hear first? Let's talk about this webinar coming up. Let's talk about that. Let's dive in there, because
before we do that, before we dive into the webinar,
okay,
I want to know more about him. I want to know more about him.
Let's go in there.
And first of all, what you do, more about you, who you are, what you do, but actually after that, exactly how you got started, how ElectroNeeks became ElectroNeeks.
Sure, let's get started. First of all, it's a big pleasure to be here because, while, as you said, we do important and kind of impact-driven things, what we do will be completely irrelevant without companies like yours, who are evangelists of automation. And our mission essentially is to enable more businesses like yours across the globe to become automation entrepreneurs, digital transformation entrepreneurs. So how we got there? I'm a former Russian physicist. I came 12 years ago to the States to do a PhD in quantum electronics. It stands for lasers. And it just happened that during my time in grad school, I founded my first company. It was social media analytics and got acquired. And that made me pretty much, it convinced me to quit science. I left PhD track and later joined Ernst & Young, where I spent mostly 6 years working in different innovation roles. My last one was global innovation team in Palo Alto. I was leading a corporate accelerator called UI Momentum. At UI, I met robotic process automation technology in very early days of this technology. So I was part of that movement that pretty much made the technology available to largest enterprises in the States and globally. And I was very fascinated by the impact that automation technologies can make on people's lives. Not about reducing jobs or eliminating jobs, but actually making people smarter about where they should be developing professionally, so they are not displaced by robots. Very easy. We are leaving that routine labor to machines. I worked at the World Bank in the past, and the World Bank estimates that around 80% of all labor we do globally is repetitive routine. Half of that is physical routine. That's the field of play of Boston Dynamics and other physical robotics companies. And around 40% is cognitive routine, which is our field of play. People shouldn't fill forms manually, copy pasting from Excel. They shouldn't do, web browsing to to pretty much scrape some data from 20 websites on a daily basis and so on. These times are gone. But during my time at UI, this technology was mostly accessible to enterprises due to high costs. And pretty much the whole market of implementing RPA, taking this technology and building software robots that can automate humans' work, was pretty much belonged to 10 largest consulting companies in the world. So me and my co-founders, we started ElectroNeek with the idea to make the technology simpler and more accessible, essentially to democratize access to this technology to smaller companies. And for many years, not for many years actually, ElectroNeek is still around 2 years old or something like this. I have a daughter of the same age, and every time I see her, I'm thinking, you're developing fast. But I know that when I've learned about your existence, we had only 5 employees or so, and now we have 65 something.
Wow.
And we're growing really fast. I think we will be at 100 or 150 by the end of this year.
That's incredible.
So we decided to build a tool that would be, first of all, more affordable and easier to use. And that was kind of a solution for IT teams in different companies that we developed. We invested a lot in building the tool that will be easy with regard to UX for developers that just start with RPA, that at the same time will be sophisticated enough for more experienced RPA developers. So it has all these features of UI automation that you wouldn't find in other solutions. We recently won RPA Challenge. It's like a global competition of software robots using that features that allows us to be the best in browser automation. So we later recognized that many companies, small companies, mid-sized companies, some enterprises, they're comfortable taking our tool and building bots themselves, and they are succeeding in doing that. But at the same time, that's not a big critical mass in the market to really revolutionize how we automate repetitive labor. Much bigger impact could be achieved by empowering automation entrepreneurs so they are able to deliver RPA workflows, RPA bots to their clients in easy, simple, seamless, unlimited way. So we took the business model that dominates an RPA market, where essentially end user always pays for automation, and turn it upside down. So those who run bots built on ElectroNeek don't need to pay for the licenses, and became so big enabler for entrepreneurs and companies of 10 developers, 50 developers, 150 developers, and more to deliver automation to companies of all sizes. Because now if a client has, let's say, 10 to 20K per project, they don't need to spend half of that on RPA software licenses. Our partner companies like yours can essentially come and say, take all this money, invest them in development.
Yep.
We will do that service for you. You will maximize your ROI on RPA. You're looking for a solution to a problem. Why you need to buy RPA software? That shouldn't be that. You just buy a solution from us. And in this case, what we see, and you're part of the success stories, companies, our partners, they're able to win more quicker, more work, and because of that, they build expertise quicker. And that's very interesting because I think in RPA business, the complexity of technology is still there in the area where it's kind of accessible to companies in broad sense of this word, in let's say it's in mass market. But at the same time, it's complex enough and developers add so much value there that it's better for RPA to be in hands of smaller professional teams or bigger professional teams who build bots at scale for their clients.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much, we thought, why enterprises are so successful with RPA and small companies are not? And the answer is that RPA developers, skilled RPA developers, super important. And actually, you guys have very, I would say, talented and experienced developers. But it's a great luck you have them because you found them, you trained them. Most companies, they don't even have IT professionals to support their internal systems. Mm-hmm. So they would never hire someone to be their chief automation developer or master or solution mm-hmm. architect.
Yep.
They don't need it. So where outside of big enterprises and big consultant firms, these RPA developers are those developers who can drive the big change in the market. They are employed in companies like yours, essentially automation boutiques, managed service providers, IT outsourcing firms, consulting firms of different sizes. So we decided that we will be building product for them, for a company like yours. And this vision, being very focused on managed service providers and pretty much system integrators, allows us to pretty much build a product roadmap that aligns with the needs of companies like yours. So I will be very happy to periodically share the updates of what's coming to the market. But we really looked at our product portfolio and for the plans for 2021 and realized, okay, this part should be tailored to the needs of managed service provider. This part should be tailored as well. That's how two things should work. That's how we should communicate them to public. And what's most exciting, we are rolling out a partnership program that will provide also non-product value. So we understand that success of our clients is success of entrepreneurs, which means business growth. And business growth comes not only from a product. Great product, of course, is essential, but it also comes from a community. It also comes from trainings. It comes from sales materials, from different enablers, standard documentation, standard project documentation. And you, to the best of my knowledge, are really ahead of the curve at being able to create a lot of these things internally, given your overall market experience. But many companies who want to start RPA business, they kind of struggle there, and we want to help them. So we see our role now as being this big evangelist that empowers entrepreneurs across the world, and the market is truly global. We, for example, do a lot in Latin America right now, to essentially let you be these drivers of change. We are essentially a pathfinder. You are a trailblazer.
Yeah.
Trailblazer. Wow, that's good.
Yeah, I love it. And we definitely appreciate it, man. We've been able to do things that we haven't been able to do because of you guys. And what's amazing is, we have been working with other vendors, and before we met with you, and one of our own Dmitry, we have a Dmitry, he reached out to us like, dude, you guys got to look at this, guys. And I saw your video that you made. I can't remember what video it was, but it was a video talking about what you guys do. And at first I was like, there's no way they can do what they're saying they're doing. It's not possible, because I've done my research on RPA, and we've talked to many vendors before, and we've been wanting to do this. I'm like, this is too good to be true. It really is. I told our team, like, there's no way. So we had one of our developers, he had been working with UiPath and Automation Anywhere for years. And I told him, okay, you know what? Let's look into them. I want you to chop them up as much as possible. We want to see these guys are real, because if we're going to invest in them, they have to be real. And long story short, we worked on some processes, did some things. You introduced us to your team. We did something on the side, and we had a conversation. He goes, you better go with them. You're better go with them. And then once we found out, when I sat down and talked to you and Sergey that one day and found out what your true vision is and what you guys are looking to do, that's when I told the team, you know what, we're all in, man. We're all in. And it's amazing to see like what you guys have done even since we started talking or we became partners, and seeing the growth that you've gained and the attention you've gotten. I know your partners, where we're scrolling it now. If you guys are looking to become partners and want to know more about it, this is the website right here you want to go to. They'll tell you more about it. But you really have changed the game. You really have really. I'll give you an example. We're talking to a partner of ours that is all enterprise, and they even told us there's no way you could be doing this for the SMB market. It's not possible. And I'm like, well, you're very limited because of all the data and all the information that was out there is all about enterprise. And here along comes ElectroNeek, and you guys just sort of cut through that. I mean, have you seen a big change? Have you seen all of a sudden attention towards you guys because of the road that you're taking that no one's been on? What has been the change there?
A lot of changes. So we have big enterprise portfolio, it's growing enterprise portfolio. Surprisingly for us, we never actually went to market to chase enterprise, because we understand that there's so many great tools there that pretty much already automated many centralized processes. But we found that IT teams that work in largest companies in the world already kind of ran out of capacity of processes to automate that justify the high investment in ROI. And with our model, they understand that now they can just treat RPA as a general programming language, pretty much IT technology, that You don't need to pay someone to execute on. So pretty much it's so comfortable for them. In very early days of RPA industry, actually like till 2019 probably, in most companies, there was interesting dynamic between IT teams that did RPA, like RPA centers of excellence, and internal users. They already automated maybe like 50 to 100 processes, did presentation for companies, and asked employees to send their requests for automation. So employees send them, hey, I do this routine work for 5 hours every Friday, or this report takes me 15 hours to build during the week, and whatever. And because with other RPA vendors, you always need to pay for the runtime of the bot, essentially, for the license.
Right.
IT teams always ask that very uncomfortable question. Okay, before we proceed with your automation request, what's your pay rate? And that IT teams don't ask that with any other technologies. Like when they implement cybersecurity, who cares about the pay rate? When they implement Microsoft Office, what about the pay rate? It's just a standard tool in the office. RPA workflow should be like a standard office instrument that people are entitled to, because no one should do a repetitive task. You cannot justify paying someone to do a repetitive task on a computer. So with ElectroNeek, they don't need to ask that question. And that drove a lot of kind of inbound interest in us. So that changed a lot over last year. Actually, it changed since we got into Y Combinator and kind of got a bit more media attention to what we do. More interesting for us now, we have so many requests from entrepreneurs around the world to start RPA business. So we did some research, and we think there are around 200,000 RPA developers in the world. And most of them, until recently, worked in large consulting firms or in smaller boutiques, in large consulting firms or inside IT teams of the biggest enterprises, let's say Global 2000. Now they're leaving their employers. It's just natural process. Like in Big Four, for example, there's big rotation of talent. And they are looking for RPA tool to start their own business. I mean, they have experience with UiPath, Automation Anywhere, Blue Prism, maybe Power Automate. And they pretty much have two choices of where to go to market. To enterprise, where they played before, but they know it's very competitive with regard to implement an RPA there. It's saturated. It became competitive for vendors, became competitive for RPA developers as well. So they think, okay, I can go to smaller companies, and organic demand for RPA or any kind of automation, UI level automation from small businesses is huge. I can tell that by looking at my CRM system. And they think, okay, I'm going to work with these companies. They take the tools that they used to deliver RPA on, and they struggle to sell a single project because of the pretty much affordability of RPA bot licenses. Or actually, they're limited affordability for smaller companies. So they think, okay, I knew about 4 RPA tools before. Now I need to discover a new one. And they often come to us, and that really increased over the last 2 to 3 months once we crystallized the positioning to be a trusted partner for automation entrepreneurs, essentially. And that's probably the biggest change that we see right now. And we deal a lot on a daily basis. Our sales team is dealing with this, I would say, just starting entrepreneurs. And we want to make sure they are successful, and we want to be their advisor on starting an RPA business.
That's awesome, and I know that's going to be a huge game changer as we grow, because you're right. I know, being in the enterprise world for a few years and knowing a lot of developers, I find a lot of them leaving. And not only that, we've been able to pick up a couple of them, so we ourselves. But you're right, and they are looking because that market is just so competitive. I know and don't get me wrong, we're blessed to have some enterprise clients too, but just competing for their business is just like, you have to be on your A game, and you have to make sure that you cross all the T's and dot all the I's in order to make sure that you're going to get it. So it's been very competitive, and there's so much business for everybody in this market, especially now that you guys came into the game. I mean, it's unlimited now. I mean, and for us to be able to cross paths is going to be probably not going to be for a long, long time before we end up, having to cross paths with another competitor. So, which is great. Speaking of that, I know 2 things. I know we're running low on time, but I want to talk about, first of all, I know you have a Spanish website, because you guys, that's up and running. And there it is right there. So there's your Spanish website. What made you want to build that one after, along with what you have?
In the end of 2020, we did analysis of like where leads are coming from and where we have clients and success stories. And Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, Peru, we have clients in Peru, Mexico, Costa Rica, came as a very hot region. And I think that the region will be competing with India and for being automation capital of the world one day. Maybe not today, but they're starting to catch up. Moreover, we decided that website we released, I think, around 8 weeks ago or so. We decided to actually create a physical office in the region, not for developers, but for working with our partners. So we currently onboarding pretty big firms in LATAM that have more than 100 developers each, and probably we'll have our first Spanish-speaking webinar in April.
Wow.
But internally, I can share the excitement of, first of all, we just hired, and today is second day of our new head of the region, Latin America.
Wow.
He's based in Colombia, and we also build a team there. So it's not only we speak Spanish, we now are in the region, and
Yeah.
I plan a big tour this fall, hopefully that business travel becomes easier
Exciting.
to visit all of our clients and partners there.
Wow.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And just to see from 5 employees to almost probably 150 by the end of the year in a couple of years, 2.5 years, that's amazing. I know I'm running this, Rob, because I just have so many questions to talk to you about. So my apologies. Jump in and interrupt me if you have to, brother. So
Good, man. You're good.
I know accounting has been huge. Accounting has been huge. In fact, you got an award from the, was it AICPA? It's a Association of International Certified Professional Accounting, right? Something like that.
Let me clarify. So we became part of AICPA startup program or accelerator. AICPA is the largest association of CPAs in the world, I think. It has a lot of members in the States. And every year they select 3 to 5, I think, teams to really deep dive into the industry together, for them to share insights and connections within the industry, for us to share how the industry can transform using our technology. And there will be a lot of activities we will do together this year. So we're just starting. And accounting for us becomes an emerging, say, kind of case story where we have a lot of cases and a lot of partners and end users. It just happens that accounting is by nature a lot of decentralized processes, a lot of manual processes. And if you're looking for an RPA use case, I will recommend starting with finance or accounting teams in your company or in company of your clients. It's relatively safe play to find something there.
Easy to find too. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of repetitive labor, and even more, the software that exists in accounting, it's kind of connected, but ecosystems are very separated. Like Intuit ecosystem and Sage ecosystem are separated. And a lot of tasks, they usually happen between the systems, like data migration, or migrating between accounting software and tax software. And for us, it's important to build as many cases as we can, because these will be reusable cases that our partners can leverage. And instead of building bot, it will be customizing the bot for a client. So we think that there's a great opportunity for many of our partners to build expertise in accounting processes. And it actually brings us to the topic of the webinar we'll have this week that you will be part of. We are planning to do webinar with Sage in 2 days. Sage is our partner, accounting software vendor. We are preferred vendor for Sage Accountants Network. And we invited our partners who already did cases in Sage environment. And I know that you have really cool case to present there to talk about the stories, how they benefited clients, what kind of general value they provide. And I think it's awesome, because talking about automation is great. Showing automation in action is even better.
Absolutely. And I think, with what having for us, I think, what is it about, Rob? About 65% of our business is accounting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
it seems like they're picking it up fast. And have you noticed with just in automation and RPA automation now, do you see that seems to be more of the industry that's picking up on it more? Or are there other industries that you feel like are catching on and are making that move to automation?
So accounting industry itself is very interesting from the industry composition. There's really not so many big firms. Let's say top 500 firms, they are big, but below that it will be like 10 to 50 employees, and that means that even if they were aware of RPA, likely they never had IT resources to implement it, or probably they did something, maybe one or two processes. So it's an industry that I would say is catching up, but catching up for the right reasons. The technology was not accessible to them before. It was only accessible to accounting departments of really big firms.
Right.
Like, I know 50 bots in one of the international oil and gas companies doing accounts payable only. But that's an example of big oil firm. And if you talk about smaller firms, they don't do it. If you talk about accounting departments across the states, they don't do it. And accounting is very interesting with regard to main accounting firms. They provide managed services for their clients in IT space as well. And it's so interesting that many accounting firms are essentially IT advisory firms at the same time. So they can automate internally and at the same time turn it into ElectroNeek into money-making machine on their advisory side of the house. So it's very interesting industry for me to work on. I usually spend up to like 5 hours a week diving deep into discussions with industry experts, looking at the cases of our clients, our partners, and always try to educate myself on what's going on there. Other industries, I think manufacturing is catching up with RPA very quickly. Legal, law in general, law firms. I want to see more distributed businesses like franchising businesses, because they usually run their IT infrastructure on the branch level, on the store level, which means that even if the corporation ever implemented RPA, it happens somewhere in a global center.
Right.
And at the same time, in their local drugstore or restaurant or something like this, there's so much need for automation and no solution. We are that solution.
Yeah, well put. And yeah, I think you're right.
Like that.
That franchise, and we've been trying to tap into that, and we have a couple of clients that we're talking to right now because of that. We know that's going to be a game changer. And I know, first of all, if you guys are in accounting and anybody in accounting, the webinar is this Thursday at the 25th at 11 o'clock Pacific Standard, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard. It's going to be you have us and a couple more partners on there sharing some use cases. That's going to be huge. I think you're right. Allowing them to see what it does and not only hear what it does will enlighten them as well.
If you're in accounting, you owe it to your future. If you're in accounting, you owe it to your future to be there, the future of your business, for you, your family, all those who work for you. This is a very interesting thing. This type of technology, it used to be a luxury. Right. After 2020, it has now become imperative, because if you don't have it, you're going to fall behind. And I look at RPA very soon to be as comparable as a computer. For every business, every business has a computer, every business will have RPA, because it's just the only way you can be to move efficient. Now, understanding what the heck this is, that's what you need to do. And that's what the webinar is for. It'll take you from zero to an understanding, and understanding what you need for implementation. And there you go.
That's it. Well said. And we're going to put in the show notes, and I'll also put in this live feed. You have to put it on yours because we're live on your LinkedIn, so I can't do it here, Rob. But, there's a video out there that you did with Jensen. I can't remember what it was.
Under Jensen.
There you go. And I saw that video. First of all, your developer was amazing, man. He was chopping through it like butter, so it was pretty good. But it was anybody that wants to get an idea of what RPA can do, ElectroNeek can do. That's the video. That's the video. All you got to do is look at that video, have lunch, have something to eat, and watch that video. And that will be an aha moment for you. And so I've been sharing that video with a couple of my clients. Hey, look at this video. This is what we do, because it's been a game changer for sure. So we'll put that up there. We'll show them how to link to you. What else? Am I missing anything else, Rob?
No, I'm just going to reiterate, how important the webinar is, because, I think it's a ancient Chinese proverb. It's, you can telling somebody something 1,000 times is not as powerful as showing them once.
Right.
And so we can keep hearing and keep hearing and keep hearing, but once you see it, once it gets shown to you, you can put your brain around it and get your mind frame around it. It's going to start to make sense, and you're going to be happy you did.
That's it. And RPA is growing, and I think that it's taking a different level of growing now, because a company like ElectroNeek coming in here and just busting the market open for the SMB market. And don't get me wrong, we're happy that we're still part of the enterprise, but our passion, our love is the SMB market. And you have given us that opportunity to be able to cater our services to that market. And we've noticed that once it's almost like a kid in a candy store, or a chip. You buy one chip, you want another chip. Once we automate one and they understand it and they see the value and benefits, they start figuring out, okay, now I want to do this. Now I want to do that. We have one company that's already on their 4th process in a month and a half. We have another company on their 3rd process in a month. And it's like, and they're like, hey, we want to do this now. We want to do this now. It's just amazing how fast they start understanding how they can implement it into their
beautiful
company quick.
Yep.
So thank you very much for creating this, you and your partners, because we're excited to be riding this wave with you and being part of one of your partners, and just seeing the growth of what you've done since we've been partners in the last 6 months or so, and just seeing what's up ahead of you guys, man. It's just we're glad to be part of it.
Yeah,
sure. So
appreciate.
Thank you so much, Wilden. Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be the guest on your show. Not the last time, but the first one. Thank you.
Thank you, man.
We'll be seeing you on Thursday.
Yeah.
See you soon.
All right.
Goodbye.
What if there was a way to get more done by using less effort? What if you could eliminate all the mundane, tedious, repetitive daily tasks off your plate? What if you could have more time to do the things you want to do, like customer engagement, branding, and spending more time with those who are important to you, like your team, your friends, and your family? Well, you can, and RPA can do that for you. RPA, Robotic Process Automation, is a technology that is literally transforming businesses overnight, giving you and your staff more time to do more meaningful things. The STA Group will show you how this can be done in less than 30 days and taking less than 5 hours of your time in the process. In that 30 days, you will learn how to identify all the places of your business that can be automated, and the STA Group will show you how. From conversation to activation in less than 30 days. You will only find that right here. You will be ahead of your competition, and you will give your business the opportunity to grow once you learn how to scale through automation. Contact us today for a free 30-minute discovery evaluation, and we'll show you how to transform your business overnight.
Hey.
Hey there. Hello, gentlemen. How are you?
Monique, how are you? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
Yes. That kicked off. We had to do it.
We had to. Did you see the top of our show with Dmitry?
I sure did.
Good.
You guys are on top of it, man.
Oh man, there's something else, man. We just just been able to be part of that partnership with them has really changed the scope of our business. But speaking of business, we wanted to bring you back because since we talked, I think we didn't go much into the book and stuff. But I'm gonna let Rob, because I know I took over, and I'm like get excited sometimes.
That's good, man. I'm seeing you flying, man, spreading the wings.
Spreading them.
Someone.
Yeah. So
Wilton just get into it. He get into it and he zone on in.
Yeah. I learned from the best. I mean, Rob's been showing me what to do. So I've been just go ahead and say, you know what, Rob, I'll take over from here, and he has to pull it back, pull them reins back. But yeah,
we got Monique Russell in the house in the virtual house with us today. She is so she's a coach, obviously an author, but she's just a phenomenal human.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just saying that. These are all proofs in the pudding. Okay, pudding is the content and action that I've been seeing, and she's so authentic. I love what she does, and so this is our second live. We had our business empowerment podcast interview, and now we said we're gonna go live because we want we got so many money. We got 40 episodes in the can, just there. 40 episodes. So we're we don't want to keep those in the cave. I mean, they're gonna come out eventually, but we got to do something live. So let's bring her back. Just let's go into the book a little bit. Let's talk about your podcast.
Oh my God. First of all, y'all are incredible. Because you know what? If I could have 40 episodes in the can for my show, I think I will be in 2023. Really.
Yeah, well, that's all Rob. I would like to say that it's all me, but Rob's been hustling on that. And after a while, we're like, hey, man, we got to slow down, because even doing production, it's like, wait a minute, there's too many episodes here, man. We changed the model up and everything, and we're still months behind, And so we thought about it, and people have told us, you know what? Instead of waiting, go live. You can always put the recording. You can always put this episode, edit it, and record it later, and put it into your production. But go live, so it's raw, it's real. Some people can come on here and start commenting. So we're still trying to figure that out, because I think, I'm not live on Facebook. I am live on Facebook now, I believe, but I'm not on Facebook that much anymore. But we're trying to figure out how to make sure all these comments come in, because when we look at different channels, we have a bunch of comments on different channels, but when they're not live, they're not coming out. It's like, okay, we're still trying to figure it out, right? But honestly, it's like, we knew when we said, you know what, we got to go live. First thing we said, okay, got to bring Monique back, right? So we're back.
We're back.
And this is what Monique says about impact and influence. So our greatest need in life is to feel valued, appreciated, acknowledged, and loved. I've had the honor of achieving great results in helping men, women, and children improve the quality of their personal and professional relationships with effective communication strategies. I love effective communication strategies. I really like them. I like talking to people who have good communication strategies. I like working with people who have, but you know what? It's not a thing that's common. That's why we're out here teaching it. So please, want to coach us, help us. First of all, tell us, share kind of who you are a little bit, and then, why? Like, why this desire to help people do this?
Rob, you are so funny. Okay, you're so funny. But listen, so I am Monique Russell. I am from the beautiful islands of the Bahamas and also Nigeria. I live here in the Atlanta area. I am a mother, I'm a wife, and I am a communications professional. So I run a coaching, training, and consulting firm, Clear Communication Solutions. I lead a podcast, Bridge to You, Unity and Understanding. And I am an author. And so my latest book, Intentional Motherhood, Who Said It Would Be Easy, is my most recent prized accomplishment, if you will. And why? I mean, come on, you just said, listen, everybody loves to have effective communication. We love to speak with, connect with, be around people who demonstrate effective communication skills. And that just means that they make us feel valued and they do hear us, even if they disagree with us. They respect our boundaries and they just leave our presence with us feeling better, not feeling worse about ourselves, not about them, because we have a lot of people who can make you feel great about them. And people tend to want to aspire to be those people. I want to be like you that I see, as opposed to now leaving someone's presence and leaving them feeling better about themselves. So this is something that I love doing. It's something that I've learned, I've practiced, I've studied, I've made mistakes. I'm still making mistakes, but I truly get a joy out of seeing someone come into a deeper connection and awareness with themselves, with the whole goal of having a deeper connection with other people.
Oh, that's good. That's tremendous. Intentional motherhood. Okay. So that's really good. I am. Do you have any advice for fathers, like and their daughters? Is that in there? I just want to know because I got.
Listen, first of all, you got the book, right?
I need to have it
ordered.
book? Did you order the book?
I need to order. I need to order.
What you waiting on, Rob? I'm not even gonna give you an excuse. What are you waiting on? You can't be talking about this book and you don't have the book.
Right, it's true.
Okay.
Right now.
But what I was gonna say was, yes, it's, even though it is written specifically for mothers. First, let me say this. I wrote the book because I want to see our families heal. I want to see our families remove those shame, remove the shackles, and really, truly experience great connections with themselves and each other. I wrote this book for women like me, women in my family, Black women, diaspora women, African women, Caribbean women, who have gone through some of the similar things that I've gone through, but they don't have the communications tools and the communications skills that I have, that I've been able to now couple with my experience and my expertise and create sort of a formula or a system, if you will, to help them learn how to parent from love and not fear. So the concepts in the book, they're applicable to anybody. And I will say that I've had several men already buy the book and they are loving it. So when you and Wilton buy the book, we're going to have a virtual male roundtable to discuss the content.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So y'all need to get y'all orders on, because it's going to be on your pocket.
And you're right. I do need to get that. I did tell my cousins about it, and I know she ordered. She said she ordered it. So we had that conversation last time.
We did. I
sent her that link. And in fact, I put the link on I don't know if you can see it, Rob, on the comments. You might need to grab that link and put it and copy that and put it on LinkedIn, because I can't put it on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Because we're connected to your LinkedIn account on that one. Because you have 1 million followers and I have 2, so I put it on yours.
Rob is the influencer. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
I am a part of the party. Okay.
Yeah. I love it.
So I put that link in there so people that can
right now
that book, and when they purchase that book, they'll get that insight. But how is it that I know that it hasn't been easy for you, obviously, but you talked about that language barrier, that not having that confidence and having that fear. With your experience and people that you've been around, you've been able to actually break through that. Can you give us sort of an idea of how that works for especially for women that can't speak a language, are having difficulties communicating, different things like that? How do you sort of how do you build that path for them to even start?
That's great. And I actually was talking to a lady earlier today. We're going to be doing some training, some corporate work around this topic, actually. And they are buying the book for their moms at work. And we were talking about this. And so the whole idea is really around establishing your motherhood identity. And you could take this and you could make it applicable to other things as well. But the reason why this is so unique and unusual, and you've never heard it discussed this way before, is because we tend to operate from default, meaning that as moms, we have our kids, maybe planned or unplanned. My first one wasn't planned, for sure. And we just tend to go on that hamster wheel. We tend to just, operate from the thing that we know, which is to provide. But if we were to actually take time and to sit and think about what is our motherhood vision, what is our motherhood identity, what does that look like for me? When you start to now help someone to imagine what that would look like, helping them to break out of the normal, which is whatever society tells you it should be. If you are going from a default, you can't keep up, you feel overwhelmed, you feel guilty, you feel like you're a bad mom because you're not meeting the societal standard, which is not always bad, but you're not meeting the societal standard, and it's not a one size fits all. So in the same way that you say, you know what, I want to have a business, I want to be a business owner, that's my vision. I'm not servicing everybody, I'm servicing the financial industry, I'm servicing the tech industry, the automation industry. You've created a vision for your business. You have gone to school. You say, guess what? I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. I want to be a pharmacist. I want to be a chemist. When you start with the vision of what you want to do for yourself, we do it for our careers, we do it for our children. Okay, I want my child to go to this school. I want them to be in this extracurricular activities. We're executing identity shaping and vision casting in other areas of our lives. But when it comes to motherhood, we don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. So for somebody who doesn't know where to start, we start with the vision, because once we start with that overarching vision and you tap into really what your desires are, then you have something stronger to pull towards, and you have something from which you can actually build action steps. And then you reduce that feeling of shame, because here's my vision. I have a colleague who's a friend, and she works 2 days a week. She writes for a lot of great big publications, and she works 2 days a week. That's her motherhood identity. That's her vision. So when someone comes to her and be like, girl, you need to, what? You could be working 5 days a week, girl. Do you know you could be flying to Mexico, getting paid to speak? That's good. But I'm good here because this is my vision. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. You can. Ooh, that's good. Understanding your lane, understanding your vision, and then you can live it out. I love that hope. You basically giving someone an opportunity to the freedom to paint their future really gives them something. It pulls them. My wife and I, we're reading a book right now, Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And Viktor Frankl was a death camp survivor in the Nazi camp. He survived, whole family killed. He watched thousands and thousands die. And he said he's a psychologist and psychiatrist, and he actually survived. And he got out, wrote this book. And he said one of the greatest things he noticed is that people, when they came in, if they didn't have any hope at all, they would die quick. He said the ones who had a vision could think about the future. And sometimes he said their vision was just, what meal? I'm going to make a nice meal when I get out of here. Now, he had visions of teaching people, and he actually got out and started teaching people and saving folks from suicide. So not only did he get out of the death camp, but because he had the hope, it pulled him forward, and then he got out of there and used all that he learned and then helped the people. It just got me thinking, because what you're doing, I know it's a different scenario, but it's like, I know what you're talking about. Moms are a beast. They are doing it. They are getting it done. And the last person that gets served is them.
That's it. It is. And
a lot of times by choice.
Right, and that's what you pointed out.
That's it. That's it. And I mean, they are. My wife is the same way. I mean, I'll sit down and she'll feed the kids, she'll feed us, and I'm sitting down there, and she knows I don't want to eat without her. Right? Your food's gonna get cold until you sit down. I'm not even finished with mine. I was like, well, I want to sit down there and wait. It's just in her natural ability to serve us first. Even when I tell her, you serve yourself first, you go, and I try to, but it's just in her natural ability. So I think that's something, when you have that vision and be able to say, okay, I'm going to keep that because that's just my natural ability, but you have a vision on what you want to do within that time where you're not serving those that you care about and those you love.
Working on you.
You can put that attention and vision towards you. And I think that's huge. And I think women have a stronger mentality to be able to do it than men, just physically. I mean, they just built that way. I mean, it's true.
I don't believe that, Wilton.
It's you don't believe that? I believe that. I think that when it comes down to a woman making a choice that I want to do it, that they'll go through more to get it done than men will be willing to go through it.
You know what? Let me back him up. Let me back him up on this. Let me tell you what you guys got that we don't have, and what gives you this superpower. If we even attempted to have a child, we'd be dead. If we even attempted to go through what you go through biochemically monthly, we'd be dead. Okay, like we have the strength, but it's for a certain thing. So I believe together we're better, obviously. But back to what you're saying, though. They're doing this. Women are serving and moms are serving, but you are helping them to find their purpose. And when they find their purpose, they find their track. And when you're on your track, you can do a lot.
Anything.
Yeah.
I love it.
Definitely, it's important. It's definitely important.
So let's talk about let's leave the book up there. So I put the link in. Get the book, Intentional Motherhood. It's for mothers, it's for fathers, it's for people who want to understand uh, something different about parenting.
That's it.
I think perspectives are good. It's
That's it.
really really good. You may go in when I go to YouTube. I'll watch something, but I'll watch like 4 different people. I'll watch a woman, a man, old, a young, a hippie, or a professional, and so I can get the perspectives. And so let's talk about your podcast now. Let's talk about the podcast. Let's bring. We have that up here.
We do.
When did you start that? When did you start that?
I started it last year. For a long time, people would say, you should start a podcast. You should do a podcast. And I say, I don't want to do a podcast because I just didn't feel like it. But last year, the urge and the desire became so strong. I don't want to just start something just because everybody else is doing it or for whatever sake, so right. I am doing it because I'm really, really passionate about the mission of the show, which is understanding and Black unity.
Thank you.
So I would find out that I would connect with people who pretty much don't subscribe to division in the Black communities. Like, the division exists, it stems from colonialism. It stems from a lot of our history in terms of thinking that, okay, from an ethnic standpoint, Black Caribbean, Black American, Black African, there's this misunderstanding amongst each other. And there could be this inferiority, superiority. There's the diversity, but there isn't really a full inclusion because of, all of the other things that have happened before. And so my show, I often, encounter people who don't subscribe to that. And you can see from their efforts, from their business relationships, their partnerships, that they are supporting and connecting with Black cultures worldwide. And I want to highlight their stories. I want to highlight those people's stories to find out, how'd you develop this mindset when so many things around you points to, something that is going against what you do, or talking differently about how you live your life. How did you get this way? What were some of your experiences? How did you get this mindset? Did you always have this mindset? And you'll notice that a couple of people on my show, they will talk about, for example, Judy McCutcheon. She was on the show and she shared how she used to be irritated with African-American people because she couldn't understand the history. She couldn't understand the plight. She didn't realize, what was the complaint about slavery about? It's over 400 years ago. And so she chronicles and highlights her journey, which surprisingly connects to self-awareness. As she became more aware of herself, she now started to see other Black cultures in a different way. And we see the same thing with like More Maya. He was is a YouTuber, almost 1 million subscribers now. And I interviewed him. He left Ghana as a young village boy, went to China, didn't want to identify as African, would identify as anything but African. And through his own stories and his experiences and his journey of self-love, now that awareness allowed him to create his own show using his camera, going to different countries, taking videos of what Africa is really like. And now he's almost at 1 million subscribers. So look at this whole process of transformation and self-love. When you really tap into that for yourself and you begin to appreciate Africa as your origin, when you really step into that level of understanding, now that self-love turns into something of greater impact. And I see that as a commonality through all of the guests that I have interviewed. So this is what I'm about. I don't care if I get 800 million downloads. I'm getting the right downloads from people who matter.
Yeah. That's how you do it. Oh man, that's good. And when you love yourself, everything works out better.
Your impact is greater.
Yeah.
Your impact is greater because you're not hiding in a shell anymore. You're not trying to fit into a box. And everybody is different. When I look at each one of the guests that I've interviewed and I look at their journey of self-love, and I'm like, okay, so I could see his impact was now creating this show. I look at another guest and I'm like, wow, her impact is creating a regional conference and what she's offering to women. You know, I look at the different people and I see now what comes out of their connection to self-awareness and self-love. It's really powerful, to be honest with you. It's like, why are you you are withholding part of your purpose, part of what God put you here for. You're withholding, releasing that into the world because this piece of self-love is still being hijacked.
What do you think the number one, well, what do you think the number one reason people are hijacking themselves? Like, what do you think the cause is?
Well, it's a lack of self-awareness. You have to have an understanding of your history. That's number one.
That's big.
You have to have an understanding of where. Okay. So like Wilton talked about his wife and her natural way of serving. So the way we are doesn't form out of thin air. We are products of our environment. So I will bet you if you really begin, and there are exercises in the book that actually take you through these processes. When it comes to your relationships, your marriage, your children, where did you learn your beliefs about parenting? Who taught you how to love yourself? Where did you see it? Where did you see that? And what did that look like in your family, with your parents, with your uncles, with your aunts? Think about the people around you, the ones that you feel are experiencing joy. I'm not talking about financial abundance. That's great. Joy. Like really look at that. Start to identify patterns. You have to become a student of yourself and know fluidly how your experiences of the past have shaped who you are today. You have to know that. You have to know that's where the real transformation starts, because we sometimes just operate out of this default behavior. And I don't know if you know that story. You know what it was with the chicken? I think it was a chicken and the eagle, I think. Where the eagle, wait, let me see how it goes. So the eagle was growing up as a baby amongst the chickens, right?
Yeah.
The eagle didn't know that he could fly. And so he just spent his whole life clucking around like a chicken, but he has the natural ability to fly. So he saw this eagle in the sky passing over, just wondering, oh my God, I would love to fly like that eagle. Not knowing that he has the same capability, but because of his environment, he's just spending his life now clucking like a chicken. That's what a lot of us are going through. And even as mothers. So it's now like, if we see that thing, there's something inside of us that when we see it or we are exposed to it or we experience it, it lights up inside of us. And that desire, that spiritual connection, it lights up and it happens. But until you now have a way, let's say that eagle in the sky felt that connection or saw that connection with the eagle and identified that one on the ground and now said, hey, you like me. Let me show you. Come on, let me show you. Let me show you. Let me show you. So now you have that eagle that is demonstrating or teaching or providing a path to this eagle on the ground that don't really know that it could fly, but it's tapping into its natural ability. That's what we are going through as human beings.
Hey, look.
I love that you say that. And
good.
I'm going to share a little story. Like, my dad was raised in the projects in Texas, and he comes from a very, the poverty, and the way he was raised, it wasn't education, right? Their thing was survival, basically. He had the opportunity to move away and get his degree, and he kept me and my sisters away from that environment. I won't say kept us away, but that wasn't our environment. We had a new environment, right? And he kept us in that environment where education was important. Respect was important, being able to, and he taught us on what to understand and what to expect, and not what to take, but how to be responsible, how to be respectful and everything else. So when I would go to an environment that I was sort of categorized to be part of, I was thrown back like, wait a minute, what? You guys are limited to what you're doing. What are you doing? What are you talking about? You can't do this. What are you talking? I was like, what do you mean? It just sort of, you're right, that environment is so important, because I know if I would have been raised the way he was raised, my mentality would be totally different. my educational level would have been totally different. But he took us out of that, you know, well, he never put us in it. We didn't take us out of it. We just never were in it, right? So when he created us and created that environment with my mother, that it was totally different. So when I was part of that, I was just like, this is totally different. What do you mean? And I felt like, and I kept telling them, no, you could do this. They're no, you can't. And they almost like fought me on it. So I totally get the egg and the chicken, because once you're part of that and you see what you're capable of doing, it's unbelievable. In fact, who was a gentleman? Morgan Freeman. He was on a show, and they said, "Are you limited because you're Black?" He was interviewed by another Black, and he goes, "Well, we're here. We're not limited. It was a matter of our environment. It was what we were." Mm-hmm. And when I was talking about that, I told my wife about it. I said, "You need to see the movie The 13th. Have you seen that movie, The 13th?"
But one of my guests did, and that was the movie that shifted her mind. Yes,
that's exactly what happened to my wife. Started seeing it, is like, okay, now I get it. I knew it. I saw it from the outside. I didn't see it from the inside, right? So I was able to be part of this growing up out on the outside. And so when that stuff that was sort of part of my life, or when it was thrown in front of me, I was like, don't come here with me with that, because that's not me. You got me mistaken. So it was that mentality that's so huge when you're talking about your environment. So I just wanted to share that story with you, because that, you know.
I love it, Wilton. I love it. You already know, once you say something, like, we could go 8 different ways. Right. I love it. And what I want to say too, and that was by Ava DuVernay, 13th, the movie.
Yes.
And I like that you bring that up, because it's like, when we only have one view, Rob, you were talking about different perspectives. Like, that's something that we have to do. I talk about setting activism goals. And I say, you know, when you encounter someone else in the Black community, lean in, learn more about their lived experience. We don't have the same lived experiences, but if you lean and you learn more, like, what was normal for you, what was good, you know, growing up for you. And I want to say, like, part of what I shared in this book is, you're not your past, you're not your culture, you're not your limitations. Because if you were to look at it, I became a mom at 18. I didn't see myself as limited, although a lot of people around me thought I was. They thought that I was going to have a hard time, but in my mind, I saw myself differently. Did I have troubles and heartaches and challenges? Yes, but I didn't see myself from a place of limitation and lack. And that helped me as I moved through life and throughout my journey. So my thing is, even if you come from difficult upbringings, and everybody has something in their past that they have to find a way to make meaning of, that would be traumatic for them. I have had things in my past and in my childhood that I struggled with. I think we already talked about some of those things, you know, the whole journey of self-love, when you don't even know that what you're doing is not self-love. You think you love yourself? You think, yeah. We talk about like and love, right? That's when we like ourselves, but when we love ourselves, it's truly, truly different. So I want people who are listening to know that that's okay. You could still have a very difficult beginning, but that doesn't have to define you. We have to find ways to make meaning for us to move forward. Like, we've got to find a way to make something mean something for us that we could use to propel ourselves forward. Like, what's the lesson that I'm supposed to learn here?
Right. Wow.
Monique Clear Communicator Russell.
That's it.
You say Clear Communicator Russell. You're too funny. Oh my gosh. It's good.
We go forever, man. We already passed the time.
I know.
I totally lost track of time, man.
I love it. Y'all know how I get when I get passionate, and y'all too. We all get very passionate and excited about it.
Absolutely.
Well, let's leave the people with some final words. Let's leave some final words. Words of encouragement for them.
So, final words is, there are resources available to you right now. Right now, no matter what it is, where you are, what you're facing, if you are in a season of bliss and excitement, kudos to you. If you're in that space where you are in grief and the season is winter, you know what? Hang on in there. This too shall pass. And get resources, get into a community, just focus on the next right thing, whatever that next right thing is. If today you feel like, you know what, I could only do 2 hours today, then you could only do 2 hours today. Please don't beat yourself up. Be gentle with yourself. Be really, really gentle with yourself, and know that more people are out here that want to see you win than those that want to see you lose.
Ooh, and that's real. That's
the truth.
That's the truth. Thank you, Monique.
Yes, thank you.
You're so welcome.
Get that book. The link is in the comments. I'm going to put a link to her podcast as well. Connect with Monique for yourself, for your business, for your life. She is a very clear communicator, and she can teach you how to communicate better. I think it's just better. Everybody just refining their own selves. We don't realize how unique we are. Here's something, because a lot of folks, we have all these people out here that we have to look at, models to follow, and we gotta have role models, things that inspire us. But we can get lost in that. We get lost in that and get swallowed up by someone else. Here's something to remember. So you are unique, so unique that there will never ever be another one like you. There's never ever been one like you. And for the millions and millions and trillions of bodies that will come here, the hair follicle in your hair, you can't match it to any, ever, never can. So what that means is there's a certain specific uniqueness about you. If you then love that uniqueness and bring it forward with your service, you will then be serving people in the most unique way that no one else can duplicate.
Well said, brother.
I had that dream last night.
That's the truth right there. Like, mic drop. Where the mic? I can't find mic drop.
You bring the best out. You bring the best out, Monique.
Well, we definitely want to thank you again for part 2. There will be a part 3 coming soon. It just continues, man. It doesn't stop. I mean, it might turn into a movie,
Yes. You know what? Rob got the hookup. He could get us on the movie for real.
Yeah, he can. Speaking, did you know we have Lisa Nichols coming on Friday? Yes. Yeah. So
that is good stuff.
That's gonna be fun. So we're pretty pumped up about that. And you're right. And he's part of her movie. He's the one that did the introduction to her movie. So yeah, Rob, you know what? We're putting that out in the air, brother. You better put us out. You better.
Oh my God, that's gonna be so much fun. Rob will do the music, starring Wilton Rogers and Monique Russell. I can't wait. Oh my God, I would just act so stupid.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure talking to you, and we will definitely get that book. And we look forward to the roundtable with the men. We'll put the link in the show notes, and we'll put them on the comments now. But when we put this on the podcast, they'll be in the show notes as well, so they'll be able to pick it up. But we'll order ours so we can have a discussion.
Yes,
maybe we have that roundtable live again. And
that's it. That's it. I like that.
Specifically that book.
About it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
What if there was a way to get more done by using less effort? What if you could eliminate all the mundane, tedious, repetitive daily tasks off your plate? What if you could have more time to do the things you want to do, like customer engagement, branding, and spending more time with those who are important to you, like your team, your friends, and your family? Well, you can, and RPA can do that for you. RPA, Robotic Process Automation, is a technology that is literally transforming businesses overnight, giving you and your staff more time to do more meaningful things. The STA Group will show you how this can be done in less than 30 days and taking less than 5 hours of your time in the process. In that 30 days, you will learn how to identify all the places of your business that can be automated, and the STA Group will show you how. From conversation to activation in less than 30 days. You will only find that right here. You will be ahead of your competition, and you will give your business the opportunity to grow once you learn how to scale through automation. Contact us today for a free 30-minute discovery evaluation, and we'll show you how to transform your business overnight.